Hi there and welcome to an all-new review. For those of you who have been following our channel closely, you would have realized that we had to stop doing test drives a couple of months ago. Not because we wanted to, but because we had to. However, things have got better since then, and so we can get back to reviewing cars. Having said that, we are following government guidelines, so we do have to keep these gloves and masks on. Hope you don't mind. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump into the review. This is the all-new Ford Explorer, a full-size family SUV that has been around since 1991 and become somewhat of a cash cow for the American manufacturer, with new sheet metal and glass, new engine options, new transmission, and plenty of more upgrades. Let's see if this new model has what it takes to be better than the aging Honda Pilot and the tech-savvy Kia Telluride. Now I know what some of you may be thinking. Is this really the all-new model? And I understand, because it does not look all that different to the car it replaces. It's almost like Ford found a design that worked and just decided to stick with it. Ranging from different shades of white to black and everything in between, the all-new Explorer is available in 10 exterior colors, with this being known as the Rapid Red. Since this is the limited model, which is Ford's way of saying full option, it does get a big chrome mesh grille, LED headlamps and tail lamps, 20-inch alloy wheels, and a lot more cool stuff that we'll talk about when we get inside. But before we do that, let's talk about boot space. Being a family SUV, practicality is quite important, and the new Explorer does come with a foot-activated tailgate, which is always helpful when you've got your hands full with groceries. Boot space measures in at 515 liters, but fold the third row out of the way electrically using the buttons on the side, and it expands to a more usable 1,356 liters. There's also underfloor storage, which is divided into 3 compartments, and it's extremely useful if you want to hide valuables out of sight or keep things like tow ropes and jumper cables. Slimmer and sleeker than the older model, the dashboard in the all-new Explorer has been reworked quite heavily and is now far more modern. Since it is a dual-wall dashboard and acoustic glass has been used on the windscreen, the new Explorer is said to be the quietest Explorer to date, and there isn't much reason to question that. In terms of space, the all-new Explorer offers far more than the older model in all 3 rows, and that is because its wheelbase has been extended by 165 millimeters. Here in the second row, there's plenty of legroom and headroom even for taller adults, with sunshades on the side, a panoramic roof overhead, and independent controls for the AC from those seated in the front. Now, Fords have always been known for offering better value for money, and they do this by offering more features than the competition. It's the same case with the new Explorer. With families being the main focus, there are 9 power outlets to charge things up like your mobile phones and cameras. There's also a 12-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system that makes sure your road trips are just that little bit more enjoyable. Not to mention, there's also ambient lighting, built-in navigation, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. On the safety side of things, the new Explorer is equipped with Ford's 360 Pilot Assist Plus, which is essentially a bunch of systems that work together to minimize collisions. You're looking at adaptive cruise control with stop-and-go technology, blind spot monitoring with cross-traffic alert, lane keeping, lane centering, as well as a driver attention monitor, amongst a whole lot of other safety features. It's all very good, but there is one main problem, and that is to do with this 8-inch infotainment screen. You see, other markets get a much larger infotainment screen that's almost like a tablet that sticks out of the dashboard, but sadly, there's no plans of bringing that to the UAE yet. And then there's the positioning of it. The screen is extremely upright and placed in such a way that the only person who has a clear view of what's on it is the person who's sitting in the center of the second row. For the driver, it's just not very comfortable to look at or use because of the amount of reflection. Keeping all of that aside, however, Ford has really worked extensively on the all-new Explorer, and that is most evident in the driving department. Gone is the big V6 that powered the previous model, and believe it or not, but this full-size 7-seater SUV is now powered by a 2.3-litre 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine that produces 300 horsepower and 420 Newton meters of torque. Does it feel heavy and lethargic? No, it does not. Does it feel like it needs more power? No, it does not. In fact, the all-new Explorer feels very nice to drive because of the 10-speed automatic transmission and soft suspension setup that makes it very, very comfortable over things like speed breakers or uneven patches in the road. Although this new model is more rugged than the model it replaces, with more towing capacity and 7 different drive modes including a deep sand mode, this isn't the kind of car you'd buy to do something like the Gulf News Fun Drive. Sure, there's enough power to take on your favorite beach or perhaps even the gravel shortcut to your home, but anything more than that really isn't recommended, and that's because of a few factors, such as the low ground clearance in the front, the low profile tires, the lack of a low-range transmission, and locking differentials. It's big, it's got a lot of features, and it drives really well. At first glance, the all-new Explorer has a lot going for it. Sadly, it is let down by its poor quality. The panel gaps between the hood and the headlights aren't equal on both sides of the car. The door panels are flimsy. The plastic trim around the steering wheel hasn't been put together properly. And these are just a few things that I've discovered in 24 hours with the new Explorer. So, is it really worth its 199,000 dirham price tag? I'll let you decide. Thanks for watching.